Hey everybody, welcome to another fantastic episode of Plastic Adventures show slash podcast slash video. I'm Doug and I'm here with Steve, and we're in front of our toys as usual, and Steve's pile is growing.
Yes, it is. I would also like to mention the Plastic Adventures show, podcast, video, etc. are the purveyors of only the finest toynography to get you by through the week, to get you to the weekend, and then come back to us one more time.
Yep.
So yes,
talk about a lot of toys.
Yeah, stash is growing back there. Yeah, it's going to look a little bit empty after next week because I get to come down for the Inland Northwest Toy Show. Doug and I are going to hook up for that. So all of the cool stuff that I've managed to find at Walmart and Secret Target here will be finding a home on his shelves. So I guess I'll just buy more.
Oh, darn.
Darn it. Rats.
But you got to do what you got to do, right?
And when you need it, you need to have it. So that's how we do things around here. Anyhow, we do have some news this week, but I knew it was coming, right? Like we had these really, really good weeks for Joe and Transformers, and like your socks are so far blown off that you have to go buy a new pair.
Yep.
Not so much for May the 4th be with you. But
there was some news. So me personally, okay, so I'll kick off the news with talking about May the 4th. Hasbro Pulse reveals today. Was pretty excited because this is a good May the 4th. We're going into Obi-Wan Kenobi territory now. We're getting really excited for that. And so I was hoping that we would see maybe some kind of new releases and things like that were kind of going down that road. But we didn't get that. So, but what we did get was, we got some trooper reveals, which hum kind of things. We got some looks like a Padawan Anakin reveal in there. But the biggest things of note for me were so there's the retro box set that's coming out, which I think is a really good idea for collectors who maybe didn't get a chance to get those first 6 and to get those on their shelves and get them all at once. So I don't know what that price is going to be. Hopefully it's not going to be too expensive for collectors, but
I bet you, we're going to be paying probably $11.99 once they get back into stores. What were we paying? $9.99 for Empire Strikes Back and
for Empire Strikes Back for those ones, yeah.
Yeah, so those are $9. The new price point will probably be like $11.99, but I would not be surprised if this box set wasn't like $74.99. Popping them to $15 a piece. Worth it. If you don't have them,
if you didn't get them, it's definitely worth it because they look really good on your shelves. I mean, I love the ones that I've got from that set, and they look really good on a peg if you got it. So
they display incredibly well. And at least when you get to buy a pack of 6, it's not going to be like our Empire Strikes Back scenario where you're finding yourself at Walmart finding 5 of the 6 because some like butthole stalking person scalps every single effing Boba Fett. And you got to get it like third party somewhere.
Yeah. We were lucky when we found ours when we did, which, by the way, Steve got his Boba Fett at the Inland Northwest Spokane Toy Show. So there's another plug.
Shameless plug. Yes.
But, like I said, it's a good opportunity, and I hope people are able to take advantage of that. The other thing that was kind of cool was, I mean, I won't personally go out and get it, but it was really kind of cool, was the Darth Vader helmet reveal, which was very intricately detailed and can come apart just like the one in the movie. And on the inside of the face mask, it had all of the the circuitry and the doodads and all the fun stuff that made it really cool when you saw it like in episode 3 and it was being put on Anakin's face. So that one was pretty cool. There was
I already look like unmasked Darth Vader.
Oh, from
the bags under my eyes.
From the original Return of the Jedi.
Hold on.
Tell your sister you were right.
You were right about me. Tell your sister you were right.
Can you confirm it's Leia? Because I already kissed her.
You what?
Well, we need to talk, son. What's going on here? But there was also
raised on Tatooine, not Space Obama.
Space Obama.
Yeah.
Family's still a thing, Luke.
Did you use the tongue? Sorry, that's a detail someone like Yoda would want to hear.
Like, why didn't anybody tell him? Like, come on. That's a detail you need to tell Luke Skywalker. Maybe not his dad.
Maybe,
but you need
maybe
to
Han knew
definitely
the
tell
whole
him about
time.
his sister.
Han Solo knew the whole time, and he was just trolling him.
That's such a.
Hey, I'm not the one making out with my sister. And
Chewbacca the whole time. Chewbacca knew too, right? And he's saying, "No, Luke." Ooh, ooh. I don't know what he's saying.
Just goes to show that just goes to show that nobody really actually knew what Chewie was actually saying. Yeah, Chewie, I get it. E equals MC squared, and really the whole time he was just like, Scooby snack.
Don't kiss Leia.
No.
Oh, all right. Back to the
sorry.
Side quest. Okay, so the other cool thing that they showed was Force Effects lightsaber, which looked like it was Obi-Wan's lightsaber. So that one was kind of cool. They've been doing Force Effects lightsabers now for a while though, so it wasn't really a big thing. So all in all, to me, the May the 4th reveals were kind of underwhelming. Not some big reveals or not anything that was like, oh my gosh, I need to go out and get that. But what I do know is that going forward, every Wednesday now until the premiere of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus is going to be another Star Wars reveal Wednesday. So, fingers crossed, maybe we'll see some good stuff from Star Wars coming out as we get closer to the Obi-Wan series.
I think you're probably right about that. I don't think that they would just want to like completely, blow the toy wad, so to speak.
Right.
Weeks before that, they're trying to hype it because of Star Wars month. So we will see some cooler stuff. But we were kind of talking before we started the show, and that retro 6-pack. I love the idea. I think it's really neat. I wish that they would have done it like one of the special edition figure sets, like in sets of 3, on that cool window box, or maybe done an early bird style package. That would have been cause to make me, the guy who has bought them previously, rebuy the exact same figures because you put a different sticker on it, or you put it in a different box. Or
like we were saying, so the original early bird set that came out in 1977 had the 4 figures in it: the Luke, Leia, the Chewbacca, and the R2-D2. Excuse me. And if they would have released like an early bird set with 3 of the figures that we'd already previously seen, but thrown in an R2-D2 mold from a figure that we had not seen in the retro series yet, that would have been another way to kind of get everybody out there to buy these things again, right?
So that would have just been a 4 figures $60 bill right there.
Yeah,
I think it would have been a real win.
But Disney lately has been all about missed opportunities to me. So I feel that this is a missed opportunity for something like that. I felt they could have gone that way.
So didn't they say that was going to be a Disney store exclusive, that 6-pack?
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
I think so.
I was working at the same time as I was watching the reveal. So.
Oh yeah, I was busy today. I got to see a few pictures when you mentioned it. I forgot they were even doing reveals today, so I just thumbed through really quick. But that'd be neat to have that exclusive to the Disney stores, find them at retail, and then also be able to pre-order. But like we said, the incentive for somebody who already owns the figure is not there to buy it.
No.
If you would have just put a different spin on the packaging, or released them side by side in a window box, even if you use that new the sisal rope that they've got a lot of figures bound with, the biodegradable stuff. to bind them in would have been just fine as long as they came that way. And we've seen that style packaging with some of the more higher articulated figures, you know, like what they consider the vintage collection, even though they're not retro. So it just, I think that would be a great way for them to get some more mileage out of the tooling, some of the assets they have, and then get more money, because obviously the way that we like to show them, I got room to set them down on a shelf below and have the ones hanging on the cards above them. So that would have been a win.
That would have looked really good on display. But you know, the box as it is, just is not enough for me as a collector who already has those same 6 figures on card to go run out and try to find it, or to buy it, or to pre-order it. So
especially at more than what we would have originally paid.
Yeah.
So you got to do something extra. You know, maybe if they did this release and they didn't put the retro sticker on there.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe people would have been interested in paying the money again. But
yeah. But I'm okay even with the retro sticker, because you know, I still see these as reissues, as a continuation of the original Kenner line. Like, we're still getting Kenner figures. So even though we took a really long break in between releases for the Kenner line, I still consider these, even though they're reissues, to be part of that. So to have that retro sticker on there to kind of delineate, you know, between original and now, I think I still think that's cool.
Yeah, and I think there is some good key identifying marks that separate it from all the people who are pissing and moaning that it hurt their value, or that nobody will know the difference now. But
we'll know.
Yeah, I mean, there's just I think it was kind of a missed opportunity to get more people from the suckers like us that will buy it again.
Yeah.
But good for the people who never had a chance, because they're really cool figures. They're fun, and every Star Wars fan should have those figures somewhere in their house.
Oh, I agree.
Because that's where it all started.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. So what else you got in the news there?
Well, that was it for all the stuff that I wanted to share, but I know you've got maybe 1 or 2 other tidbits.
I do. They had released, we were sort of waiting. There were going to be some Target exclusive Transformers, and just as underwhelming as Star Wars was today, the figures that they're going to be releasing exclusive to Target, I got them written down, because one of them is okay, but we're going to be getting a repaint of Cog in red. So the weaponizer, you know, Fortress Maximus's dude, and apparently he comes with one extra little mystery accessory that goes with RC, that was featured in the Netflix cartoon, that abomination of a production. It's like some little canister or something that clips on her back, and I think
don't care.
it hooks onto her. It does 2 things. Like, it looks like it's some kind of a grenade, but also it looks like it's a mount for mounting Cog to the back of RC. So in this like incredibly awkward way, you've got this like huge hunk of gear on RC. Like, if this was a human, it would be like 2 Gatling guns on your shoulders. It's like super unwieldy.
I remember. There was a part when they went to go talk to Sound Blaster, and Cog dismembered himself, and then RC and reassembled on RC with these 2 big guns. I remember the scene.
Yeah, he weaponized onto her.
Yeah.
I got to tell you something, man. I had never seen Earthrise, or what is Kingdom the last one?
Yeah,
that was the last one.
It's Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom that are part of the War for Cybertron trilogy.
Okay, so in those cartoons, I had never seen episode 6 of Kingdom, the final episode. I put that on the other morning because I woke up early, because I'm old, and it's like Saturday morning, and it's 5:30 in the morning, and I'm awake.
Mm-hmm.
I started watching it, and I'm like, this is so bad, I just can't even watch it.
Oh, really?
Optimus Prime.
Yeah, so there are things that I like about the War for Cybertron series, and there are things that I don't like, and Optimus Prime's voice is one of them.
Well, you know, I'm in category 2 on the don't like for most of it. I mean, any Transformers is good Transformers, but boy, you can certainly tell when one of them is like some shoestring budget, not even voice actor production, versus, you know, something that has quality and story and dialogue. and
Yeah,
thoughtfulness.
I feel that the studio that they went with, Rooster Teeth, was not the best decision. But like all things, we got a hell of a toy run out of it, because their figures that came out of that series were so good.
Oh yeah, and it's keeping on going, and only now, because they're not bound into a specific cartoon or presentation. I mean, those cuffs are off.
Mhm.
We are going to see so much awesome crap out of Transformers lore for the next couple of years, that the opportunities to do things that they wouldn't have been able to do because of story constraints. I just think that Legacy is going to kill.
Legacy
It already
is
is
a really
doing a
good
great
idea, because you can do anything with it. And when we were talking offline a couple of days before doing the podcast, I'd found some really cool, like, I don't know if they're third party or custom images of GoBots that have been upgraded and upscaled and have been given more joints and more detail. And oh man, that got me thinking, wouldn't it be cool if Legacy brought in the GoBots that Hasbro already owns and said, here's a nod to GoBots as well, and gave us Leader One and Turbo and Psykill and do the laugh. I can't do the laugh for Crusher. And but oh my gosh, but wouldn't that be cool? I mean, that would be so cool to see those upscaled ones next to the Transformers that we have. Oh, like we said, hopefully somebody has a brain in Hasbro.
Anybody that's out there listening to this or watching this, and you're wondering what GoBots we're talking about, they're GoBots, but they're not GoBots. It's the upgraded, like the reboot of Machine Robo, which is the GoBots in Japan.
Mhm.
And it features a whole bunch of familiar molds that we know. And I want to say it was Bandai that did that line. I'm not 100% certain.
So that's an official, the ones I've sent you?
Those are real.
Official?
Dude, those are real.
Oh, wow. Can you imagine if Hasbro brought those over and put those in the Legacy boxes?
Yeah, I'm wondering, because when those figures came out, they were all in like this $40 to $50 range for like a 6-inch figure. When you imported them, you could get them from Big Bad Toy Store. My only thought, right? Like Hasbro owns the GoBots trademark, but Hasbro Takara probably don't own the Machine Robo rights for Japan. And
I see. So maybe Hasbro owns like the branding and stuff like that, but they don't own the likenesses of the characters, maybe.
Yeah, the images. I'm wondering if they tried to bring that to Transformers, if they would be able to do the same in Japan, because there's been this big thing where Hasbro and Takara are now like in lockstep together.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that release here release there. They're trying not to do a lot of these market exclusives. So if you tried to release these GoBots under Legacy branding there, I'm wondering if that would be a conflict, because they're under license by a different toy maker.
I don't know,
but that doesn't mean that Hasbro couldn't do like a Legacy type line of GoBots and release them in waves of 4 at $24.99 a piece or whatever they need to be for deluxe size figures, and I bet you those suckers would sell.
That would be such a cool idea.
Yeah, so what you saw is
the Legacy, like in the old style GoBot like branding. Right?
Oh, if they did them carded, that would be sweet.
Yeah.
Like on a blister card.
Me too. All right. Sorry, everybody. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we are back now, and we can talk more about the news that Steve was sharing. So part 2 of this episode.
Yes. Well, I guess we can just leave it off with those Machine Robo reboot figures. They're rad, and I would love to see those on an old school GoBot card with the blister.
That would be cool.
I think Hasbro's trying to get away from all of the cards with the clear blisters, but it could be a branding issue in Japan. But it would be really neat if they just licensed the molds like the old days, and did a run of the 8 characters or 12 that they've done. That'd be pretty sweet.
It would be cool. I mean, and real quick, just to touch on it, I know that they did in comic form at least have an actual crossover between the Transformers and the GoBots, which pulled the GoBots officially into the Transformers universe. So it would be cool to also nod to that, knowing now that, hey, these guys are no longer GoBots, but they're actually Transformers now. So
I don't know if people can accept that.
No, that's too much.
We're too old to change. I would take it in a heartbeat. Yeah. So anyways, getting back before we went off on the GoBot tangent there, these Target exclusives are not nothing that really like shakes your foundations, right? You've got Dinobot, which is cool robot mode, bad dinosaur mode. We've got Terrorsaur, more Beast Wars, and we've got a masterpiece Blackout coming, and it's looking like, you know how we got our Bumblebee Legacy figures? They're in that yellow packaging that's a window box style. That it's looking like that's what it's going to be. So they're going under that buzzworthy Bumblebee sort of umbrella, but it has Legacy stamping on the package, just like Skids, and just like, or not Skids, but just like Blue Streak, and those movie 86 movie figures for like Cup and Cliff Jumper.
Gotcha.
So nothing that really rocked my world. 40th anniversary He-Man's up for pre-order.
Ooh.
And yeah, they got them on Big Bad Toy Store and also on Entertainment Earth. I want to say they're running about $22. Big Bad Toy
after
Store.
I get off this show, I'm going to go pre-order one. Thanks for that news, Steve.
Well, you know what you should do? Pre-order that and then pre-order your Zodak.
Oh.
Because they're reissuing Zodak from Origins.
Oh no, I already did it. There was a 4-pack that he's coming in. I did pre-order that.
Oh yeah, they reissued that line, you know, that Target exclusive
that particular
Origins.
wave. Yeah, so I did, and, you know, $99, but you know, it gets me my damn Masters of the Universe.
So you bought the whole case assortment.
Yeah, the whole wave. The whole wave was all 4 of them. It came as one thing, so it would give me all the ones that I'm missing. You know, not the Stratos or the Merman. That was a different wave. But this one came with
I thought Merman was part of that set.
No,
but I could be wrong.
I don't think it was. I thought it was a She-Ra.
Yeah.
A Manny Faces.
Oh yeah.
And an Orko. I thought that was. I thought and Zodak. I could be wrong, but I thought that was the wave. I'll have to go back.
I don't remember. Pre-order. I also remember only seeing them ever so briefly on the shelf once ever at a Target, and they disappeared. So thank goodness that came back around.
Yeah, you were luckier than most, because I don't ever remember seeing them. So
yeah. So 40th He-Man, that's Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store, $22 a piece thereabouts. Big Bad Toy Store features Pile of Loot, where you can just have your stuff like pile up until you tell it to ship all of it. And they do a flat $4 shipping, so it's a really good deal with them.
Oh,
they're not always first to the table with stuff. Sometimes
they are a little later than others, yeah.
You know, but you know, like things where they were filling small time retailers first with Terraclaw Skeletor. That's the only place you could really order them from. It was Big Bad, and then they ran out of them, but they'll be back. So they're a really good outfit. Those guys have always been really good to buy from.
Yeah. Still waiting to see one on shelves, because man, that Terraclaws is a freaking cool figure.
I'm looking every day for that. They're doing a heavy duty reset in the toy aisle at my Walmart. And so, you know, they were doing these Masters of the Universe WWE crossovers. They have something that's sort of like that. They stopped the character crossovers with all the equipment, you know, like Stone Cold Steve Austin with the trap jaw stuff.
Yeah.
So these are just straight up wrestling figures. And there's like Ric Flair, Hollywood Hogan, Bray Wyatt, and Honky Tonk Man were like the first wave.
Oh.
And they hit Walmart for pre-order, and nobody could have them. And right now, all those figures are $60 on eBay a piece.
What the?
They've started showing up. And you know the only one that they don't have in stock right now at my Walmart?
Hollywood Hogan.
Hollywood Hogan, the one that I need.
The one that you're actually after.
Yeah, every day looking for that figure, but also looking for Terror Claws, and I know I'm going to get it. So just a matter of time.
Yep.
And I guess wrapping up, this really isn't much in the way of toy news, but when this announcement was first made, this really was one of the biggest what the hells for me. Like, they've done a lot of obscure superhero movies, but when I heard that HBO Max was interested in a Wonder Twins movie, you know, those two jabronis in the purple
With the monkey,
super friends with
the monkey,
Queef or whatever his name was. I don't remember, Gleek or something, the monkey's name. They were gonna do it, and they pulled the plug. HBO had a moment of better judgment. You know, some exec came out of his pile of cocaine and was like, "Oh, this is not a good idea.
No, we can't do that."
Yeah, no, this is off the book. So thankfully, I do not know how you can spin that to make that like a good entertaining concept.
Like you couldn't even make it dark and gritty, right? Because they're just those are some of the worst characters to ever come out of.
I mean, what do you do? Do you make a parody movie out of it?
You would have to,
where there's sort of like incestuous undertones between them, and it's like a big ha. I don't know.
No,
like, get Seth Rogen.
Thank you. I'm glad they killed that one before it even had a chance to start.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too. I'm glad I'm not seeing that. There's plenty of other great movies that are coming through.
Yeah.
But hey, it's maybe it's show and tell time since we've rambled on about all this news.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow news day. I'm more excited about show and tell time. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. First. This is what Doug found through his proxy toy crack dealer.
Ooh, look how beautiful that is. First part
these
of
guys
Minotaur.
are finally hitting the shelves. Yep. Finally hitting the shelves in mass. So I think I found this guy at Walmart, and I know that they've been hitting Targets too. So it's about time for this legacy wave to hit. So this one will be joining Doug's collection. And I had two things come in the mail last week that I was pretty jazzed about. One of them is not something that's overly hard to come by, right? It's like you can almost go into any vintage toy store or, nerd place, and you can find these things by the droves. But I've recently rewatched a movie that made it to where I needed this figure.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
but you got a Playmate Kirk.
Yeah, Playmates, Captain Kirk. It's Admiral Kirk from Generations, but he looks close enough to Wrath of Khan Kirk.
Yeah.
I know I've got that really sweet Ertl carded Kirk from back in the day, the 3 3/4 that I picked up at the Inland Northwest Toy Show in Spokane, Washington, coming 2 Saturdays from now. That's where I got mine. So this one I had to add to my collection.
It was only logical, Captain. No, that's great. It's a good one. That's my favorite kind of Kirk, man. The red uniform Kirk is the best one.
I bought it on eBay, and I made sure that I lose. I don't like to lose. But now here is the cool one. This is the one I was super jazzed about getting. And it's been a while coming, and I've been seeing these things for way too expensive money, and it finally popped up for pre-order for about 8 seconds. And somebody posted it in one of the groups, and I managed to get on and get it pre-ordered.
Oh, there it is! Oh, wow!
Yeah, it's the Farmhouse pack. April O'Neil and Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles movie. This pretty much is going to end my Ninja Turtle movie figure collecting. I've now got all of the 2 packs that I could have wanted to have. The 4 Turtles, Shredder, Splinter, the Foot Soldiers. So I love this thing. It comes with a whole bunch of really cool accessories. They're hard to see, but you get her drawings that she made. There's some pencils in there, so you can set them next to the drawing. You get like
the turtle wax.
yes, turtle wax. You get one of Leo's ninja toes that he was cutting carrots with at some point. There's a hammer. There's a really cool mask that goes over Casey's head.
Oh,
and then you get a masked Casey Jones head for whatever reason, I don't know, but you get an alternate head for April O'Neil and some other hands and stuff. So if you're gonna play like reality, you can pretend that she's bitching and moaning to all the production crew because she was very difficult to work with, and you can do hand
behind
gestures.
The scenes,
yeah,
playing, yeah.
So yeah, I was extraordinarily happy to get this. I paid retail price for it. I mean, they put it like in a box and sent it. No real packaging, but the alternative up to that point was like 100. I think they were going at about 120 to 140 on eBay if you wanted them. And it really led all of us to believe that there had just been this limited kind of like retail release of them, and that was going to be it. But they popped on Walmart. I'm assuming that they're going to be, hitting Target shelves, but this will be just a really hit and miss deal for the Target shelves. But super excited, happy to have it.
It's not a set that I'm in a hurry to get because I feel like the Casey Jones that I have is probably the best version of the Casey Jones that
absolutely, yeah.
The only reason why I would is because I would need an April, but even then I don't feel like she really gave anything to the movie. She wasn't an important part. I'm more interested in trying to find the Red Shredder and Splinter. That's the one that I want. I've seen it a few times in stores. I was stupid and passed them up, and so now I got to try to find them somewhere else.
Well, they were so plentiful near the end. I'm wondering if this week after next, when we're up at the Inland Northwest Toy Show in Spokane, Washington, I'm wondering if we're going to find them up there for a good price. You might even find loose ones that people took out of the package.
And that's kind of what I'm hoping to find is some loose ones. I'm not necessarily interested in them all being in the packages for this particular set of stuff. So yeah, if I can find them either way for a good price, I'll pick them up.
Yeah, then Dylan Doug will be all over that. I don't have 25. I have 22. Would you take 22?
I just walk up. You never know until you ask, right? And most of the times, everybody I've asked, they've all said yes. So maybe I just have that face. I don't know.
You don't get what you don't ask for.
That's right. All right, so my turn. So or were you done? Was that it?
That's it. That's the pickups. Okay. I actually have two things that are going to make you laugh your butt off when they show up, and I show them next week.
For next week's
show. I'm really excited about them. I can't wait to show these minuscule items which I have procured.
Okay, mine. So my first one, I got two things in the mail and one thing I picked up just before the show. But first one is I got a gift card, excuse me, from my work. So the first thing I did, of course, was go on to Amazon and see what Transformers I could buy with this gift card. I wasn't going to use it for anything productive or anything cool, other than that. No, it's Transformers, man. Just I'm going to buy some Transformers. Yeah. So it was a $50 gift card, and with if you sign up for Amazon Prime, you get free shipping. So I was able to just eke in under that $50 gift card mark and buy the Generation Selects Galvatron.
Yeah.
So if you've not seen this one before, he's actually pretty darn cool. So he comes in the Generation 1 colors. I learned he's actually like an inch smaller than the purple version that was released. He's actually a smaller version.
Huh.
Yeah.
You got me, man.
But I love the G1 colors. I know he was purple in the 86 movie, but the G1 colors for me are actually slightly better, I feel. So I'm really happy with this purchase. Glad I got him. And he transformed really cool into his space cannon or whatever it was he was. But not bad for free, right? So that one that one is pretty good.
Yeah.
The other thing I got is also one it did not cost hardly anything, but it was one I was super, super jazzed about getting. There's other robot lines I like besides Transformers. And I love, I know, amazing, huh? Right? What? Say it ain't so. But I like old robot lines like Votoms. I don't know if you've heard of Votoms.
Oh yeah,
Uh, I like Dugram or however you pronounce it,
yeah,
Dugram. But that's what came in the mail today. So I was able to get one of these. Back in the day, these things would have been what? Let me get a. These things would have been at your corner Asian market store,
yeah,
$2, right? There's not even a back, right?
yeah.
There's like they just. But you know, I got this for $15 plus shipping, and that was worth it to me because, I mean, when you take him out of the thing, I mean, just look how cool he is.
Yeah, it's a really cool toy, and a lot of those were somewhat unlicensed versions, but it's on the real it's on the real mold that the toy came out in Japan.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a little piece of that big robot history. It's like when you could find GoBots under the Machine Man or Machine Robo
Or the Machine Robo, yeah,
at a
absolutely.
dollar store, and they came, which I actually love the package because it reminded me of Matchbox cars, the old ones. They would just come in this box with a window on the front. It was rad. Yeah, I loved them. So that's really sweet that you found that, man. That's an awesome figure.
Yeah, so I every time I go on, I have certain things that I look for, and I'm not going to pay everybody else's prices. I'm always waiting to find that particular one that hits that price point that is happy for Doug's wallet, right?
Yeah.
And so when this guy, I was looking and going through all the different Doug Ram ones, and you see those things are pretty expensive, Steve. Those things are up there. But he popped up, boxed and all, $15 plus shipping, a little bit of shipping, and that was worth it. I was like, oh, buy, boom, instant buy. So that was really happy to get that, and he looks really good next to my boxed Votom. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I love them, and sometimes you can find. I don't want to butcher the name. I think it's Dairuger, the thing that became Roadbuster, and the one that became Whirl. These other like transforming robot lines, kind of finding them in their native state of existence before they were pre-transformed. Seeing those toys is really awesome. That was a good pickup in my opinion. It displays well. The box looks great. The figure looks great that's in there. I loved all of like the Diacron, and you'd get this toy, and it was like die-cast metal and vac metal and all these shiny stickers, and you couldn't hardly there was no words on the package that you would understand. There weren't in your native language, but Griggs used to be a place for stuff like that. Yeah, Griggs and Pasco. But you get it, and I just remember the smell. When you open it up, the smell of that plastic and the smell of the poisonous styrofoam, right? But it was a smell you don't forget.
You don't forget that smell.
Foam tray, and everything launched like the tiny little choking hazard missiles. They were spring loaded and they would launch. Man, I love those toys.
Yeah, I do. So I don't know if you see this, but the missiles are still on the spruce. They didn't. They're not.
That is terrific, man.
So it's a pristine, copy or version of what we would have got. So, and I absolutely love the robot.
There's
in
no
the
reason why that doesn't. Yeah.
Anyway, there's that one. Okay, but
I can smell the packaging through the internet. Yeah, that's cool. And that actually got lifted and used in the BattleTech line as one of the mechs from BattleTech.
Oh, it did?
You remember it was a game with these 3D mechs, and it was based on hexagonal movement, and there was character sheets. It's really neat. It was one of the first like really big tabletop mini war games, and they somewhat less legally boosted designs from everybody. They had the Macross mechs in there. They had Dugram. They had Votoms. They had Dairuger. It was just like a every Japanese mech design out there. And they had the little like 2.5-inch scale lead minis, lead at first and then pewter after that. But that was the first time I ever saw that mold. That got adopted as the Battle Master, which was one of the cool as hell, like one of the best mech designs in that game. But on paper, I don't know that it was any better than nothing to differentiate it, but you know, that game was a perfect parlance for people that were big robot anime fans, Transformer fans growing up a little bit. And well, we're not playing with toys. These are minis and they're for a tabletop game.
They're toys. We're just going to call it what they are. But I also don't, do you remember there used to be like, you used to be able to find all of these guys, like Round Facer from Doug Ram and this guy and Mex from all the other ones, like little rubber guys that would come in like
quarter machines.
Yeah, the quarter, like they would be all these different ones. They'd be like pink and blue and yellow.
Yeah.
And they'd be I remember seeing this guy's exact mold in one of those little rubber guys that you get out of the quarter machines. And so
you did.
Yeah.
And there was Macross also. I can distinctly remember, for those unfamiliar with the Tri-Cities, you'll not understand this, but for those that are, Red Apple Market on Washington Street in Kennewick. I lived up the road from that, and they had those quarter machines there. And I remember scoring a red armored Valkyrie out of there from Robotech. And I played with that little plastic slug figure so much. But you're right. I want to say that they were knockoffs of what they call gashapon, Gashapon, because that's the sound that the machine makes in Japan, the quarter machine. They were called gashapon or something.
Really?
Gashapon, like in it. So those were Japanese capsule toys that they just knocked off and sent over and put into quarter machines. And they, there was lost detail and stuff on them, but
yeah, I would still, try to get one every time I would go to the store too. So.
Oh, hell yeah, man. If I could roll back the clock, 40 years, one of the first things I would do is grab a handful of quarters and dump into these machines to get stuff like that. And then I would buy many, many Transformers, have them graded, and
under the $10 price point.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. So yeah, okay, there was that one, and then okay, and then for my last show and tell, I did.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. Just before the show, and I showed you this one. It's a legacy one that I was not expecting to find, but he was right there hiding behind Spider-Man, just off to the side of the Transformers, and Kickback.
Boom.
And just to give all the viewers a little bit of perspective, this is a deluxe class Kickback compared to the tiny version of the original G1 Transformer Insecticons, and then the one that you got in Power of the Primes, which is still kind of a cool looking Insecticon. But man, oh man, this guy looks really cool, and beautiful box.
Yeah, we're finally getting those things in a really, it's a nice scale that really realizes what you can do with the detail and the robot design and the engineering for it. That is just a cool as hell figure. And as a guy who only collects some of the Autobots in that line, that's the kind of crap that Hasbro pulls that opens up the rabbit hole for me, that makes me want to deep dive. And suddenly I'm paying $80 a piece for $20 Seekers, $100 for a $30 Megatron, and filling my shelves up with all of that G1 bad guy goodness.
Yeah, I know.
So great find, man. That's a great figure.
I know, like I said, I know you only collect the Autobots, and so, but man, finding him on the shelf was one of those things where it was like, my daughter was with me, and I actually went, oh! She's like, what? I'm like, no, I found something. I actually found something.
She wasn't like walking down the toy aisle with you.
No,
so that no one recognizes her.
She thought it was pretty cool. But
man, my poor wife. Oh, poor Nicole. She's so worn out. She just comes down the toy aisle with me now. It's not even a problem because she knows
her phone as you're looking and going, yeah, that's nice, dear. That's nice. Yeah.
And then you get people looking at her like, oh, it's so nice. You must have picked him up from the nut house and took him out for the day.
Oh well, our wives, they go through a lot for our hobby, so I appreciate that. Thanks,
They
Nicole.
do. And God bless her. I anytime I know anything that she wants to collect, I'm all over it. All over it.
I wish Michelle had something that she wanted to collect. I'd be all over that too. But
so wasn't her thing at one point like My Little Pony?
No.
Or was it Strawberry Shortcake?
Strawberry Shortcake. And I got her a whole box of those. Got her a whole big tub of those Strawberry Shortcakes. So I think that was good for her. She's like, I'm done.
Yeah. Oh, but they came with combs, and then there's international variants, and we can get this one mint on box, and this one still smells good. Oh, I'm super excited! I scored this. Nobody knew how much it was worth, and I got it for pennies on the dollar. Completely lost.
Doesn't care.
Completely lost.
But doesn't mean anything. Whatever.
Yeah.
It makes us happy, and that's what makes it important.
Yeah, I mean, I could be collecting DUIs. Or additional divorce decrees, because I've already got a good collection of those.
we could be out drunk on the streets and creating all kinds of problems, and instead we're holed up in our little rooms with our little plastic toys. Let us be.
I've never sent one in to be graded before.
We haven't reached that level yet.
AFA 90. AFA 90. High grade. Yeah. Oh God.
Our hobby.
If I keep it up, I'll have another one. So I'm gonna shut up now while I'm ahead of time.
Yeah. All right. I think we're ready to go into the actual discussion part of the program, of the show that we have tonight. Steve came up with it was a really cool idea. I mean, it was an idea that I think as a kid, we've all kind of done anyway. But kind of a cool idea to kind of think about it now as an adult and kind of put an adult spin on that. So
because I guarantee that your ideas would change from when you were a kid to now.
To now. Yeah. So go ahead and tell everybody what it is that we're going to be talking about tonight.
Well, I had this idea. We take like the big five: Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Masters, Ninja Turtles. And if you could be one character for a day, who would you pick? Why would you pick it? As a kid, we all fantasized about being Luke Skywalker or Superman. But I think it's a more interesting take because you and I are old as hell and we like hurt our backs, bending over these days. So, coming from the adult mind, or I should say,
you can call it that,
40-something plus mind. I don't know how adult that is, but so yeah, I thought it might provide for some interesting discussion. So do you want me to start off, or do you have an idea there, sir?
Okay, I'll go ahead and start off. So I'll pick one of the big ones that we talk about. So let's just pick Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, I'll kind of go as a kid and then as an adult. Let's do it that way. As a kid, I would have chosen He-Man, right? He-Man. I get to be buff. I get to have the power sword. I get to have all the power in the world. I get to yell at the top of my lungs, I have the power. All of that good stuff. As a kid, yes. As an adult, no, I don't want to be the guy that's everybody's looking up to and all that stuff. So no thanks. He-Man's cool, but the guy that I want to be is oh crap, we're ending in 10 minutes again. I'm messing up all over the place with this. I thought I ended it. All right, well, real quick, 10-minute breakdown real quick, and then we'll start another part 3, I guess.
Sure.
Man-at-Arms.
Oh, okay.
Man-at-Arms. I always thought he was, he was kind of cool. He-Man's right-hand man, so to speak. His buddy that he told all of his secrets to, but was always kind of the guy that he invented cool things in the cartoon. He had cool armor as a kid. As growing up as a kid, I didn't think anything. I was like, oh, he's got green skin and a white face. Oh, that's kind of cool. Never even thought that maybe it was like a green bodysuit,
Yeah, I wondered too.
But, just thinking what do you know now about this character, how smart he is, how
stable.
and just how impressive he is with the things that he creates. Man at Arms is now my, if I could be in Masters of the Universe, that's the guy I would want to be.
Yeah, and extraordinarily selfless. Just a great like overall human being, an Eternian human being. The fact that he carries this heavy burden of being in love with the sorceress and fathering Tila with the sorceress, and to protect her from Skeletor and Hordak and whoever else might use that against her. He can't even tell his own daughter who her mother is.
Yeah.
So, that takes a lot of resolve, and it's born out of kindness. So, Man at Arms is a really good choice, and I agree with you for my pick. Well, I agree with you on the first part with He-Man. Every kid wants to be He-Man.
Yep.
But then we really start breaking it down. I mean, he's the last line of defense, and mo power, mo problems, so
That's
to speak.
Right.
So, I actually, for the character who I would want to spend a day being, Zodak.
Oh, the all-powerful Zodak.
I don't know. It's not about the power. Like I have the power. It's not about having the power. So Zodak's this cosmic entity, and to just spend a day to see what those weird black bulbous eyes have seen, the different species, and as a human being, we're just super wrapped up in our day-to-day. I mean, we literally, for as selfless and good as we can be, we're the center of our universes.
Yep.
It is so vast. There is so much out there. And I almost think that, like, if an authority figure ever came forward and said, yes, we have had contact with otherworldly entities, it would break the world because we're too selfish. We're not ready for it. But
I disagree. I think we would be ready for it.
Well, would it have a Macross effect, a unifying effect, where we put down our petty single worldly squabbles and we're able to come together? Or, would all of the nutcases out there that can't handle that it's not some rigid depiction of how the earth and heavens work, that we have mass Kool-Aid drinkings and all kinds of, issues like that?
I think it would depend on the intentions of the alien entities that we discovered.
Yeah. So Zodak's whole point is to be this neutral sort of, he's not good, he's not bad, even though he was featured as evil in the original artwork. They sort of put him as this neutral entity. Being able to see what he has seen, I think would be a pretty incredible and eye-opening look. So plus he has like a sweet floating chair.
Yeah, it was the chair that came
like
in Castle Grayskull that they added to the cartoon that he would sit in and kind of disappear and float in on.
Yeah, you don't even have to stand up for work. You just take your chair to work. And there's got to be somewhere to put a beer in there.
A cup holder.
Yeah.
Of course, with the powers of Zodak, you could just materialize one.
Oh, that'd be great, actually. And then instead of chairing to work on the next planet, you could just materialize there because it's not okay to drink and chair.
That's right. You could be drunk and just materialize it wherever you got to be and sprout off some cosmic knowledge and then hiccup and go away.
Yeah.
But no, he's a good one because he does. Zodak was always an interesting character to me because at the toy, he was introduced as an evil guy.
Yep.
Right. He was on the side of evil. So when he shows up in the cartoon and he's this guy that's actually kind of friendly towards He-Man and isn't necessarily like, I'm not going to fix this for you, but here, let me give you a hint on what it is that you can do. Was kind of an interesting character development that now I have this toy that I thought was, before I saw the cartoon, playing with it as a bad guy, and oh wait, he's not a bad guy. He actually sits in Castle Grayskull.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool character design, but I just I would love to see the universe through his eyes.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Right on. All right. So here's a good time. Let's break. Let me start up another one. Sorry for the technical difficulties, people. And we will come back with part 3. Or maybe I'll just figure out a way to connect us all. But anyway,
part something or other, yeah.
Here's the message from our sponsors.
X-Lax wants you.
Smooth move. All right.
You seem upset, Mrs. Anders.
Not really. It's just...
Touch of constipation?
And I'm not thrilled with my laxative.
Ever hear of the overnight wonder?
X-Lax?
X-Lax pills. Give me your hand. Meet the overnight wonder.
It's tiny.
It's all you need. You see, X-Lax pills gently stimulate your system's own natural rhythm.
So in the morning...
Your own system takes it from there, comfortably.
That's for me.
Good. Just look for X-Lax pills, the overnight wonder.
All right, we're back. Rife with technical difficulties tonight, but we're just so committed to giving you our version of what's cool in toys that we have returned to finish the job.
That's right. Did you enjoy those the messages from our sponsors? What was it? Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, I enjoyed it so much. That's why there was a technical difficulty. Anyways, so we got Motu covered, right? Like, who would you be for a day?
Yep.
I'm thinking Star Wars is next. And do you want me to double dip, or do you got a Star Wars first?
No, you go ahead and start Star Wars.
Okay, so there's a lot of really awesome Star Wars characters, right? And just like He-Man, when you're a kid, everybody wants to be Luke Skywalker. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be Han Solo. So, man, as cool as Han Solo is, and as hot as Carrie Fisher it was, I don't know that I would want to live my day-to-day having so many things go wrong all the time.
True.
I already say it's not my fault enough as it is. So if I could be one character for a day, I got Qui-Gon Jinn for that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What I love about Qui-Gon Jinn is the guy, he is absolutely what the Force wants. He's intuitive. He's in tune with the living Force, not necessarily in tune with this like hard, rigid way of the Jedi, which ultimately cost the entire Jedi Order.
True.
They fell apart because they were underneath this sort of like hard, draconian covenants that they all sort of adhered to. But Qui-Gon was the only smart one,
right? The
one that could stop and say, "Wait, think. This does not feel right to do this." You know, he was instinctual. He was a great mentor, patient. So to be in that position for a day, to think of how you can affect things around you and people around you, knowing that not the entirety of our world is not black and white. I mean, we've got those on the spectrums over here, but there's a whole bunch of gray in the middle.
That's right.
And you know, maybe it's because I spend a lot of my days trying to operate in the gray and to see things from other people's perspectives, or to find root problems or root causes to problems that are more so than just like this person's a villain or that person's a villain.
Right.
I think Qui-Gon would be a really, really good fit for the way that he thinks and the stopping and breathing to come up with a solution for a problem. Not that I identify most with Qui-Gon Jinn, because you ain't going to see me hopping around and fighting people with a laser sword. I'd rather hire somebody to do that at this point. But honestly, that sort of intuitive sense and being able to see the world through those eyes, and being able to change the perspective of somebody like an Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is more into the absolutes because he's a youth and doesn't know any better. I think that'd be a really cool body to hop into.
It would be. So Qui-Gon Jinn is one of those interesting characters. I think, you know, from a singular character standpoint, where we focus on his Jedi portion, he's a cool character, right? He's got everything going for him. But the one thing I think about Qui-Gon Jinn the most is that if he had not gone the route of picking up Jar Jar Binks, everything else could have been fixed. Jar Jar Binks wouldn't have given emergency powers to Chancellor Palpatine, and Jedi may have been able to find a way out of this one. It may have come out on top. But you know, that being said, he saw Jar Jar's play, or that he had something to do with the future and was willing to give Jar Jar the chance to play things out. So, which is kind of in line with his character. Huh?
For better or for worse.
For better or worse, exactly. He knew that there was something about this character that it was important for him to be part of. So, but you know, that said, I mean, as old as I'm getting now, I do start to you know, identify with Qui-Gon Jinn more, or some of the older characters like Yoda and things like that. It's like, these youngsters aren't listening. So, you know, pay attention to the living force, damn it. But yeah, he's a good character. Mine, however, is not a Jedi. So
is it Ponda Baba?
No.
No.
What do they call it? Walrus Man. Wow, that was very racist, whoever came up with that. No. Okay, so my guy would be, so he's not Luke Skywalker, he's not Han Solo, but he's still very cool and plays a major role in Star Wars. And I would actually like to be Lando Calrissian for a day.
Man, I thought about that one. Yeah.
And here's why. Because Lando, he's not a bad guy, but he doesn't have to play by the good guy rules, right? He can go and do his own thing. He's got his own interests at heart. He's, you know, before he comes in, I mean, he was already the administrator of Cloud City, which is the coolest place in the galaxy as far as I'm concerned. I love the entirety of Cloud City and that whole feel that we got there in Empire Strikes Back. And in fact, it's one of my favorite memories about the whole Star Wars franchise is everything that happened on Cloud City. But not only that, but I mean, the dude is suave. I mean, he's everything I'm not, right? He's cool. Yeah. He's fast talking. He can talk anybody, you know, he can do all these things. And it's like, damn, I wish I could be that cool. So, I mean, we're just looking at Lando Calrissian, who's not, he doesn't have the fate of the universe on his shoulders, right? He's not the main trio. He's just kind of following him on this adventure. Even though in Return of the Jedi, he plays a larger role, but man, just to be that cool and that suave and that, you know, knowing what to say and what to do in pretty much any given situation and not having to play either side. You can pick which one you're going to go down.
Okay. He's a master politician.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, which is, like I said, which is everything I'm not, right? Yeah. So I can't play those games. I don't know what to do in that situation. So, but not to mention that, I mean, like, so both of our guys, let's put it this way, have super cool voices.
Yeah. They could not have picked a cooler guy than Billy D. Williams, man.
Oh, nobody could have done that. As smooth as Colt 45, I'm telling you right now. So I'm telling you, Billy D. as Lando Calrissian was a stroke of genius in casting, and one of the best characters to ever come out of Star Wars. And he would be my pick. Now, as a kid or as an adult, who would I be? It would have to be Lando Calrissian.
Well, and you know what's really cool about Lando is that the things that he was able to do, he was so capable, and nobody got wrapped up in coming up with some gigantic cosmic backstory for Lando, why he was the most important guy that ever did this thing that was ever there. And, you know, like the fandom got, it seemed like in the 90s, there was a backstory for everybody, including like astronaut Sideburns extra #2 from New Hope that walks by the camera for like 2 seconds. But Lando is just he's a normal dude though. Yeah. I mean, he's not a Force guy. He is incredibly intuitive in how he speaks to people, and he's really good at reading people. I would made him a good gambler, right? I mean, that's really what he is. I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, he could gamble things. I mean, he won Cloud City, I think, apparently. So, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to get what he wants and how to get ahead in the world by saying the right things or knowing the right people. So, yeah, I would be Lando's mustache for a day.
And let's talk, I mean, back in the day, you know, if if I wasn't married. Sorry, Michelle. But Lando would get all the girls too. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yep. He was so high up on my list, but I thought, for the mental place that I sort of put myself in on a day-to-day basis, Qui-Gon edged it a little bit for me, but boy, Lando is like super, super high up on my list.
There are
It'd be
times
awesome.
where I wish I could channel Lando and know the right things to say to people. What would Lando do in this situation?
I'm afraid to tell you, your sister's ugly as a bag of dicks.
And only Lando could make that sound smooth.
I know. And then she'd be like, she is.
You're right.
2 of them. 2 bags.
Oh, I'm sure that if I had to sit down and think about a more serious character, maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi, I don't know, but Lando is like the top of my list right now of who I would have to be. So
hey, no worries, man. I think that is a super justifiable pick. So let's do Joe. Let's do G.I. Joe.
This one's a hard one because there are so many that I like that I feel like I would want to be. And not the obvious ones, not like Duke or Snake Eyes, right?
Well, if I was Snake Eyes, I just wouldn't have to talk to people all day long. I just
That's
leave,
true.
do what I want.
Like somebody's talking to you and they turn around and they're like, where'd he go? You're like crawling out of the ceiling.
I could just do gestures the whole time. So, there's some obvious choices. Like, I wouldn't want to be Sergeant Slaughter for the day.
Although he would be cool.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I picked Roadblock. And why?
Okay.
Because the dude is a gourmet chef. Like, his culinary skills are off the chart.
Right.
And I really feel like if there's a group of people and there is one guy that is just like respected and, deeply cared about, Roadblock is probably that dude that's in the group.
Mm-hmm.
The things he says has meanings, even if it's in rhyme. And I really feel like other people take a cue from him. Like, he's a leader amongst his peers, but also, he knows how to have a good time. And if there's one thing that I love, it's a good effing barbecue. And I haven't had ribs for like ever. And maybe it's because I'm so hungry. I'm just starving to death. I need ribs and some freaking fried chicken, and I need a steak. And I just want to make a taco out of it, a piece of steak, and have those things in it. And my culinary skills, they really kind of start and stop at put on grill, cook to medium rare, take off grill, add salt.
Cook till black.
I'm okay. I can do eggs and meat, but the seasoning and all that other stuff, I just think it would be so cool being that dude for a day.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be pretty cool. And he's another one of those guys that I feel like, you don't make fun of him. Right, which another thing.
When he's jacked too.
Dude is big. He's huge.
Yeah, who's gonna piss and moan about their potato salad having too much mustard to that guy?
Are your eggs running? No, my eggs are just fine, Roadblock. They're good. Thank you very much.
And I guarantee you that SOB doesn't got to do a single dish.
Probably not. Nope.
So that's hands down. That's my choice for who I would be for a day if I was a Joe.
So mine. So I'm at a toss-up, because there are 2 that I really like, and one of them has always been Dusty. Like, I love Dusty's character. I loved his backstory where that they showed in the cartoon where he was has his I can't remember, was it his mother or his grandmother?
Mother.
Was having medical bill problems, and he's like, Cobra was the only one like that was offering him to take care of things, and so, but then he kind of turned it around on him, and Duke and him kind of worked out this thing where he wasn't a traitor, and he was, and he had a very good, more character development than most.
Duke just had one of his famous comas. and nobody was in on the plan.
Nobody was in on the plan. But I also like, Dusty just always struck me as this as really cool. I loved his desert camo look. I loved how easygoing kind of his character was in the cartoon. And so I don't know, Dusty is always like one of my number ones. But another one that I feel really good with is Flint.
Oh man, his girlfriend's hot.
Well, besides that, but Flint, like in the cartoon, he was like the man's man, right? Like even more than Duke. Like Flint was the guy, and
Flint had one of the most macho voices I've ever heard.
Oh, seriously, the dude walked around with shotgun shells strapped to him. Could pull off the beret look like nobody else, and like he would get into fist fights. He would, I mean, when Flint gave you an order, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna follow that order because it's freaking Flint, right? And so, I don't know, even more so than Duke or Hawk or some of these other leadership types. I felt Flint was like the guy that would be. Duke and Hawk, they do the strategy and they give out these orders, and Flint is the guy that says, okay, I'm gonna take those orders and I'm gonna run with them. I'm gonna make this happen. So.
Well, Flint, I mean, just from a design point, he's one of like the best designed figures. And when they translated it to cartoons and did the camo and the brown, great character design. But yeah, you're right. He was like even more of a hard-nosed badass than Duke was.
Absolutely. And like I said, when you're growing up as a kid and you're looking at those things, you're looking at those qualities that you hope that you get when you grow up. Flint was badass, man. He was macho. He was all these things. All these things I didn't grow up to be, damn it. But I really, I still wish I could.
I got the forearms like Flint, but I got them because I didn't have Lady J around.
Oh man. But yeah, so like I said, that would be my toss-up because as a kid and still today, Dusty is one of my favorite characters. But Flint is like right in there. So it would have to be either toss, whichever one I feel like being that day would be the one that I would choose. So,
yeah. I think Flint would be a great choice. I can really see it on that one. In some ways, they always say he's interchangeable with Duke, but they really did have sort of different personalities.
Yeah, no, I always thought that Flint brought a lot to the leadership table, but it was Duke and Hawk who were doing all the strategy and stuff, and Flint was really the guy. He was the executive officer, right?
Yeah.
So you got your commanding officers, and your commanding officer is like, "Hey, we're going to do this," and then Flint's like, "All right, I got the plan. I'm going to go out and I'm going to pick my best soldiers for the job, and we're going to get it done."
Plus, he's a helicopter pilot. That's pretty cool. Too.
Well, he's a warrant officer too, right? So he was enlisted before he was an officer. So he's got both sides. He knows what's going on. So Flint is the man. Flint is the man. Not represented well in the frickin' live action movie, I should say. I did not like the Flint. That guy was no good.
Nobody. It was just names. Wasn't actual characters.
Yeah.
Other than Snake Eyes, and even he was lame. So
didn't feel at all like the characters they should have been.
Oh, so let's save Transformers for last. Let's do Ninja Turtles. Did you have a Ninja Turtle pick?
Yeah, mine's gonna be a little obvious. All right, Mikey.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, to just be that carefree, have that much joy and that little worry. That's my pick too. I've already worked through my Raphael side. I'm trying to be Leonardo. I wish I was as smart as Donatello, but to just have that unadulterated joy and happiness
in everything that you do, right? In any situation, Mikey's going to be the guy to find the joke. He's going to be the guy that lightens it up, so that way you don't feel so stressful, and you go into the situation feeling like you can, you actually feel pretty good about it. So, Mikey, it was always one that even though he was the youngest of the group, which I was the youngest in my family, so I can still kind of identify with that. He brought a lot to the table for the Ninja Turtles, and I don't think that if the actually with any one of them removed from the equation, I don't think that they would be a good team, and I think they would all kind of fall apart. But Michelangelo plays a very specific part in that. He may not be the most like skilled Ninja Turtle, but he does hold that kind of, he kind of holds that team together. Leonardo leads them, Donatello gives them the tools they need, and Raph is the muscle. And you know, Mikey is probably the most important part. He's the heart, he's the soul of that team.
Yeah. And I think as a character, he reminds us that we all spend a lot of time taking ourselves very seriously. You know, we take our job seriously. One of the things I tell people at my work is that, you know, you stress out because you take pride in what you do, but at the end of the day, this isn't brain surgery. The house doesn't burn down if the floor doesn't look right. You know, there's a solution to be had. And I think it's really important to be able to just find the time to laugh and find that time to say, you know what, this is very important that this gets done. But, and I guess with the Ninja Turtles, maybe they are facing the end of the world scenario.
They
like
do
every
face,
other
they
week.
do face more dangerous situations than we do, let's face it. But yeah,
They do. But adding like some levity, I think that's an incredibly important role. But more so for me is just feeling that like unadulterated happiness, unburdened, I should say.
Yep.
Because
Well,
Mikey doesn't got a mortgage, you know. Mikey
he's
doesn't
just worried
gotta
about where his
hire
next piece of pizza's coming from, right?
Exactly.
But you know, just be able to find the fun in pretty much any situation. You walk into any room, Mikey's going to be the guy that has everybody laughing, that has everybody just enjoying life. So that's why Mikey's my pick. I mean, we could have picked any of the other ones as well, but you know.
No, I agree with you. I mean, at this point, for where I'm at, if I could be one for a day, that would be great. Actually, what would probably be the coolest is if you could time travel back to your best toy moment when you were a kid, and just get 5 minutes of that unadulterated like amazement or joy, with the first time that you saw like the flag on the shelf, or something was under that Christmas tree that you thought was impossible to get, or just those types of moments that you grow out of. You know, you get older and you get cynical. So I guess we were saving Transformers for last. What is your pick in Transformers? What do you got there? Who would you transform into for a day?
So that's another one that's kind of hard. Because there's a lot of different factors that go into this, right? There's the cool factor. There's the intelligence factor. There's the alt mode factor. There's the character factor that kind of goes into all of it. And each one of those are like, well, the cool factor kind of goes to the Decepticons, but I don't want to be a bad guy. And the intelligence factor kind of goes to, you know, some of the Autobots, but I'm not necessarily don't want to be an ambulance. So it's like, which one do I pick? So, but if I had to choose, like, was there a really cool one? It would be, and this is going to be surprising because I actually talked to Jeff about this, and we came up with a good reason why. Is Jetfire.
Oh, okay. And
there's a good reason for that, because Jetfire, and I feel like this sometimes, and so I can feel like I have a kinship with Jetfire. You don't always know where you stand on things, and Jetfire is one of these characters who had a character growth, right? He thought he was one way, and then over the course of the story, he became somebody else completely different, and he went from being a Decepticon to being an Autobot, and not that I'm feeling like torn between good and evil, but these days I always feel like things aren't always so clear cut. Things aren't always on even, steady ground. And as a character, I always felt like Jetfire was on that uneven ground, right? He was intelligent. He was beyond intelligent, but he was kind of also on that, well, you know, who's right, who's wrong? Where do I go? How do I do this? He was one of the biggest, you know, Transformers there was. But at the same time, he didn't use that to his advantage. He was more of a thinker. He was more of a...
Yeah, he's a scientist.
Yeah. So there's lots of different Transformers to choose from, but I think that Jetfire is one of those that kind of, if I'm going to go for character, there's Optimus Prime, of course, who's always the big, bad, cool guy who can lead everybody and do everything. Then there's Bumblebee, who, he may not be big, but he's got a big heart and he can do a lot of things. But, Jetfire is this kind of guy where I think we've all kind of felt like, I don't know where I stand on certain things. I don't know if what I'm seeing is good or bad. I need to look at this a little deeper and figure it out, and I think that's where I get that connection to Jetfire.
Well, I also think he's super brilliant, and to have that mind of a scientist in the body of a warrior, the amount of good that could come from spending time in your craft, or also he gets to kind of work in a little bit of solitude.
Yeah,
he's not always around, so that might be alluring to somebody who gets 500 knocks on their door every day, and has texts and endless flood of CC'd on emails for everything. Yeah,
I do get that.
Yes. Yeah, me too. And I'm like, I don't care. Just order it if it's the right one. You didn't even want to talk to me. You sent it to this person and CC'd me. Just talk to the person you want to talk to. The person. Leave me alone. I don't. What's the call? Order it if that's the one they need. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some beers. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I always felt like, sometimes I even felt like a bull in a china shop at times, which I felt like Jetfire may feel like, because he's just so big compared to all of the other. He's not Omega Supreme big, of course. Nobody can be that huge, but he fills a different role. Jetfire is down on the ground, with the other Autobots, and he always, no matter where he's at, he's going to stick out.
Yeah.
He's going to be alone. Even with his closest friends, he's going to feel alone. So that's my choice. Maybe a little too deep, maybe a little too philosophical. We went from Mikey to Jetfire, but hey, that's where I'm going.
No, you know what? I didn't choose any main character for my pick. It would be neat being as confident as Optimus Prime and respected and wise and loved. But, sometimes you just want to get out.
Mm-hmm.
You want to relax, even if it's part of your job. So my pick was actually Hound, if I could be a Transformer for the day. He's a scout. He gets to constantly go out and look for new things. His off mode or his alt mode is an off-road vehicle, so he can just kind of get around wherever he needs to go. But spending that time in nature and observing, or even if it's not in nature and you're observing other people, I do like to people watch. People.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
It's interesting to me. But knowing that you're not bearing the burdens of constant frontline combat, and your job is to explore, and in that duty to scout and explore the beautiful things that you get to see, the nature that you get to be around, the good side of people that you get to see, that would be a really fun body to be in for a day.
It would be. I think so. A little bit on Hound is he's actually really infatuated with the human race. He thinks that they are more than what they are. In fact, he always feels that the Transformers are kind of locked in to what they are, and he feels that humans are these things that can just be anything they put their mind to. And so he's some of his backstory has always been where he's been infatuated with the humans, and that. In fact, when he first in the first cartoon, he was the buddy. He was the human, or the human connection to Spike. It was him and Spike in that first few episodes, until they got to, you know what, we need a little more colorful, shorter Autobot. We're going to throw Bumblebee in there and make him be Spike's best friend.
Yeah, Hound did get his ass whipped by a pipsqueak Rumble. So I like to think
he wasn't supposed to be the biggest and the strongest.
No, he's not a warrior. The whole concept was that the Autobots were never supposed to be fighters and warriors.
Right.
But I think living that life for a day would be great, where the only thing that you had to do is be out,
looking at stuff,
observing. That would be really cool to be able to do that.
Yeah. The other one that could possibly be along that lines, where he's not looking and observing, but he's getting away from things and maybe kind of wanting to change what he is Skids. I don't know if you remember what Skids did in the comics, but he actually didn't want to be a Transformer anymore. He left, and I guess he like fell in love with a human girl and wanted to be with her. And he's like, forget this. It's doing it again, saying I'm running out of time.
Okay, we're almost done, I think.
Either way, he would have been a good one, because he's like, I want to leave my other life behind and go be this thing for a while, you know? And so, and then eventually he realizes, I can't run away from it forever. I have to go back and be what I'm supposed to be. But
well, you know, if you wanted to go one more extreme than Hound, Cosmos.
well,
Way out there.
he just wants to
way
be
on his own.
Yep. I always thought he was a funny one because, like, as a toy, he's like super tiny, right? He's like this little tiny UFO, but in space, he even transforms into this big, the big green thing that blaster can ride around in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, but you know, Transformers is one of those where each one of the characters has these characteristics that they each exemplify, right? That they're not all the same. Like Ironhide is the old brash mentor type of Autobot. Ratchet is the you know, I'll do no harm type of character.
He's like Bones from Star Trek.
He's crotchety, but you know, he's going to help you. He's not going to hurt you. He's going to try to help you. You know, there's Bumblebee, who I can do this no matter what. You don't have to be big to be the best, or to be, you know, to contribute. And so, like I said, and you can pick any number one of those for those type of characteristics. But yeah, Transformers is another hard one. G.I. Joe, kind of, some of the characters feel like a little maybe one-dimensional, well, maybe not so well. I mean, like Lifeline and like, you know, it's like, yeah, he's a pacifist. Okay, I get it. But
yeah, there's plenty of girls' cartoons he can go be on.
But yeah, that's a good one. Do we have, okay, so we got 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Is there an off, like, major brand character that you would be?
You know, I didn't really give it much thought. Not much thought at all. Oh, geez. It's not boring. I'm
That's
just
a
tired.
sign to end the show, I guess.
Boy, that's a good one. Now that I'm on the spot there, what would be some other branded character to be? Well, yeah, maybe one of the Galaxy Rangers would be kind of cool. You know, all the they're out there on the edge of the known universe, you know. Maybe, and if I had to do that kind of dangerous work, I would be Golden Goose, because the guy, when he activates his badge, he's essentially like invulnerable.
Oh, cool.
So if I want to put my life on the line, I'd rather do it in such a way that my whole body's a bulletproof vest now, instead of, you know.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
But, you know, I dig the whole Western thing, being out there on the outskirts, on the edge. I love Westerns. And, you know, if I was going to do it for a day, maybe Golden Goose from Galaxy Rangers. That'd probably be my pick.
If I was going to go the
Shane
Western
Gooseman
theme,
or something's his name.
was that?
I think his name was Shane Gooseman or something. Was
Gooseman?
his name in the cartoons? Yeah.
If I was going to go the Western theme, I'd probably have to go with the main character for one of those. Would be Bravestar, because that dude was cool.
Oh yeah, he's got all those weird, like, extra human abilities. So, I
he
guess
got
that
the
helps
gun.
too.
He was a frontiersman. He was, you know, he was cool. He was all around cool. The cool factor was strong with Braveheart. But another one I was thinking of was Brad Turner from Mask.
That dude's a rock star and a secret agent.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I were to pick somebody that's not me, that I wanted to be for a day, like, how cool would it be to be Brad Turner? Like, not only are you a rock star and have people yelling your name, but, oh man, I've got to go on a secret mission. I'm going to go jump in my motorcycle.
Saving the world stuff. Yeah. Yeah, you drive a motorcycle and a helicopter?
Yeah. The guy just has cool written on him all over the place. Just and
you don't walk into a bar and say that you drive a motorcycle and a helicopter and not walk out with somebody at the end of the night.
Yeah, just a couple minutes later, even. I mean,
plus you're like handsome and charismatic and a rock star.
Yeah, very cool. And the cartoon made him just so his voice was like, "Hey man, yeah, let's go do this. Let's go." I'm super cool, Brad Turner. And like the mission would be like Scott and D-Bob are like, "Hey, this is a cool mission. Is Brad gonna be on this mission? Can I go hang out with Brad while we do this?"
Yeah. Oh man, I got one. But you could only be this character for one day. You wouldn't want to be the character for any more days. Fat Albert.
I
would.
It's Fat Albert.
That's what I would. That's what I would say. If I could be Fat Albert for a day, I would walk into Golden Corral at 11:01 a.m. and leave when they closed.
Oh gosh! Every time I think of Fat Albert, the first thing that pops into my mind is that theme song. And I just picture like their animation was used over and over again, and they're like walking. That's what I get. Filmation rock reusing all the same animations over and over again.
The dude is obviously diabetic. And I swear to God, like if you could take his heart out and give it a squeeze, it would just like be like mayonnaise coming out of every ventricle.
Like, he was so big, like I don't know if you ever noticed, like his shoes were never tied. He couldn't tie his shoes.
But so like, what the worst thing about losing weight and trying to get into shape is that eventually your stomach shrinks up a bit. And if you're a food-centric person like me, and my family always centered around food, man, I mean, there's just nothing better than a taco and fried chicken and a hamburger and ice cream and pizza and spaghetti, like that buffet experience. But I get full pretty quick, like a normal human now.
Oh, and to be able to eat endlessly, right?
You just, Fat Albert walks into Golden Corral and they're like, "Oh no."
Gold Rush. Everybody runs to the back.
And then I can, you go through the line and there's a guy that cuts you the steak. Like there's this big hunk of steak and they always cut you off a little piece. And if you're a guy the size of Fat Albert, they cut you that little piece off and you'd be like, "Hey, don't go so skimpy on the steak, bitch." And the guy he'd have to listen to you.
Man, that last bit is probably wrong for so many reasons. How do I edit that out? Oh gosh, no. All right.
And I guess if you go by cartoon law, there is no consequence.
No.
So hopping into that body and just being able to like go whole hog for like 12 straight hours.
But then at the end of the episode, you get to sprout off some good old street knowledge that you learned and made everybody feel happy. Hey, Timmy just wants to be friends. There's no reason to make fun of Timmy. You should be ashamed of yourself.
If your fat ass spends all goddamn day at the buffet, you're gonna be shitting for a week.
I don't think it ever went that far. Oh God. Oh. All right, we have less than a minute to wrap this up, so I think that's where we got to call it quits. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us for another technical-ridden adventure with our podcast. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments if you thought of other people or other characters, if you agree with us or don't agree with us, and follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. I have an Instagram page, and we'll see you out there. See you in the toy aisles.
Yes, and on this May 4th edition of the Plastic Adventures Show, in order to wish you a happy May 4th, I say to you, Live long and prosper.
Oh, you just pissed all the Star Wars people off. May the force be with you.
May the
Bye.
force be with you.